is going on, everyone? You are all very welcome back to the Gaelic Gridiron podcast, brought to you by Print My Pint. Make sure to check them out for your next event. Really cool addition to any sort of event, printmypint.ie. Week one is in the books of the 2025 NFL season, and we are coming to you on Tuesday after a crazy night on Monday Night Football. Lots to get through, lots to look ahead to for the coming week. First of all, a big happy birthday to Mr. Stephen Kearns, aka Twist. We won't ask him what age he is. It's definitely he's getting up there, mid to late 40s at this stage. But
almost the same number as Troy Polamalu's jersey.
Oh, that's a big number. That's a big number. Looking forward to a couple of celebratory pints this weekend. I'm delighted to have on the podcast today Connor Tate, a very happy Vikings fan after their victory over the Bears last night. I'd say it was a squeaky bum time at about 3 o'clock this morning, Connor, was it?
I think 4:45 this morning was squeaky bum time still. That was, nobody saw it going that way. Glad it did.
JJ McCarthy looks like the answer in Minnesota long term. I mean, he had a rough first 3 quarters, but he stood up and counted when it was needed.
Absolutely. He, as I say, nobody saw it going the way it did down the stretch, but it just shows you how fickle a sport it is that after 3 quarters you're already ruled out. And he turned around at the end.
Seems like the head Kevin Connell's kind of gamble has paid off a little bit there. And the organization's gamble has paid off as well. I mean, they had the security of Sam Darnold and previously Kirk Cousins. They decided to go with the rookie quarterback after he really had no experience last season with the torn meniscus. So I know obviously it is still very much early going, but you'd have to like the Vikings' chances there with the weapons they have and a quarterback to kind of put it all together as well this season.
What a rookie quarterback does is it opens up the salary cap and allows you to invest in other positions in the team. So you see the acquisitions that Minnesota brought in on defense. On the offensive side of the ball, there's a lot of big names. There's big tight end, one of the top 5 in the NFL, best receiver in the NFL, really strong offensive line that isn't being talked about much, but Minnesota invested very deeply in that this offseason. 2 good running backs in Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason. So the tools are there. It's just whether the quarterback guru in Kevin O'Connell can train JJ McCarthy up to be sufficient. And that's what I think he was last night. In the first 3 quarters, it looked like a relatively toned down scheme. It looked like they didn't want to freak him out too much. A difficult game on the road, harsh environment. But then when his back was up against the wall, it just looked like they let him free. And you see that with the read option play call on 3rd and 1. I mean, let's go win us the game, JJ. And he put the game on his back.
And Twist, I mean, the momentum kind of had a big swing there at the end of the 3rd quarter going into the 4th quarter. Just watching the highlights this morning, it was really all Bears up until then. And Caleb Williams was playing free, he was playing loose, he was getting some good runs using his legs to create plays. But ultimately, the Vikings came out victorious in the end.
Yeah, just to build on Connor's point, like JJ put the game on his back. The Vikings did come in the 4th quarter with only 85 total yards on offense, which at that point in an NFL game where it's done and dusted. But you see in the connection, JJ to JJ, like to Jets, like that connection's there. It's strong. It's beautiful. It's going to be something that, I'm going to be honest, jealous to watch Vikings fans get to enjoy, like a good quarterback throwing to an elite wide receiver, and it's only going to build his confidence. When you've got a rookie, because let's put it this way, JJ McCarthy is still technically a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
He missed his whole rookie season.
Oh, he's very much still a rookie.
Yeah, he missed his whole rookie season due to injury. But when you have an elite wide receiver there who can bail you out at any time, his confidence is going to skyrocket. And then flip to the other side of the ball, I'm still so mad the Steelers let Brian Flores walk into Minnesota, and you have the quarterback whisperer in Kevin McCarthy who turned Sam Darnold into
a good quarterback.
Quarterback. Like, he basically turned him from a guy who everyone gave up hope on to a guy who was pushing them into the playoffs and looking like he could cause some damage. So with him behind JJ and Flores behind that defense, the Vikings are really looking like a fierce challenger for the NFC North. To flip on the Bears, their rebuilt offensive line didn't look too good. Caleb Williams played really good, mistake-free football, but not enough to win the game, especially when you have as Connor mentioned, that now two-headed monster at running back with the Vikings, that's also something that's going to really help out JJ McCarthy.
I mean, that JJ to JJ connection is only going to develop, Twist, as you say. It's going to be lethal. I have two points here that I kind of want to get your thoughts on. First off is, the Vikings looked really, really strong in the NFC North last year until they fell through off a cliff when Sam Darnold imploded, as he tends to do. Given the weapons they have now and the ability to unlock those weapons and unlock that offense, we only saw a flash last night of what JJ McCarthy can do. Does this put the Vikings back in the driving seat as top contenders for the NFC North? We saw, how poorly the Lions played against the Packers on Sunday evening. And secondly, are the Steelers in trouble in Dublin in a few weeks' time? Because we're going to talk about it later on, maybe, but I'm not liking Darius Slay's chances if he's going to be covering Justin Jefferson for 4 quarters.
Well, just to start off on the situation in the NFC North, I stand by my point that I made last week. The Lions are going to tumble. They're not going to make the playoffs this year. If they do, it'll be a wild card. It'll be one and done. I'm sticking to that. They're not going to continue to go. They've lost all their coaching staff. They've been gutted. Their window for the Super Bowl is closed. The race for the North in the AFC now is between the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Bears, I'm sorry, fans, you've got to bear down and take it. You're not going to do anything. With this defense of the Vikings and with an emerging rookie quarterback, you're going to see the Vikings push. I still think Jordan Love and the Packers were only missing one piece to be contenders, and I still stick with my prediction that they're going to win the Super Bowl. Sorry, Connor. They're going to push for it and win it all. And then for the flip side, for the Dublin game, I don't think the Steelers, even if Joey Porter Jr. is 100%, I don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Jets. I
mean, we saw Darius Slay even struggling against the receivers he was covering on Sunday night. I've honestly, the Jets receivers, I got there eventually. So, I mean, he looked, he saw, not Sauce, it was Sauce Gardner was, kind of burning him on the first touchdown anyway.
Sauce Gardner's on defense with him.
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, Garrett Wilson was really hard to cover. They tested that frequently. He is showing a big liability. So if he ends up covering, JJ, Connor is going to be absolutely loving hearing JJ's name called from Croke Park. Like,
Connor, you must be buzzing, Connor, to see the Vikings coming to Croke Park in less than 3 weeks' time now. What they've put in place.
It's unbelievable, and it's thanks to the Steelers. It's just a quirk in the scheduling that it happens to be against Minnesota again overseas. In regards to that game, I don't think Pittsburgh's defense was a true representation of what they're able to bring to the table in week 1. I think week 1 is very deceiving. So I cannot see the Steelers' defense being as porous as they were against the Jets in Dublin. I think they'll get that sorted, especially overseas. It's weird. You just cannot predict what's going to happen. Some sides turn up, some sides don't. And the question I want to ask is, if the Bears hang on last night, I won't say hang on because they were cruising for 3 quarters. If JJ McCarthy and the Vikings don't have that resurgence, how are we talking this morning? Are the Vikings really a contender? Are the Bears down and out? Because we're ruling the Bears out now.
From my personal opinion, I think the Bears still aren't a contender. So even if they beat the Vikings last night, I'm still going to be quite harsh on the Bears because they didn't show me anything last season. Their rebuilt offensive line didn't look great. So even if they won, I'm still judging them against the Packers. Even though I'm writing the Lions off, I'm judging them against the Lions. I'm judging them against other AFC powerhouses as well. And I don't think they have what it takes to beat them. Whereas I think even a stumbling JJ McCarthy with that defense and with that offense has a chance to hang in games with those powerhouse teams. Don't know what you think, Jimmy.
Yeah, JJ McCarthy is definitely the missing piece. Connor, it's actually funny you said that about things get weird overseas games. We saw the Panthers win against the Giants in Germany last year. I was at that game. That was a very weird game. Some weird games in London as well. So I think you're absolutely right. Anything could happen in Dublin
Yeah.
in 3 weeks' time. I want to finish up with a stat that I saw on ESPN earlier on. And the only two quarterbacks in the past 45 years to overcome a double-digit win in their debut um, is Steve Young and JJ McCarthy. So that just shows you what kind of company he is in and what sort of trajectory he can have if he stays healthy and if he can continue to be, what the Vikings drafted him for, which is their franchise quarterback. So he's in great company already.
It was incredible, and I think it's not just about going 1-0 in the win column. It's about the confidence that's going to give him. If they go out and they lose 17-6 last night, and it's his pick six that cost them the game, his headline is all over ESPN for the wrong reasons. JJ McCarthy can't get it done. JJ McCarthy throws the game away. Bears defense scores more points than their offense. Vikings still lose. These are all the headlines they're going to be writing. Whereas now it's JJ McCarthy is the savior, and we only played one game.
Yeah.
He's got to go do it again on Sunday night against Atlanta next week and the week after, and then he's got to go to Dublin, and then he's got to go to London, and let's see who he plays off loads of hours of travel, right? So there's still so many things, and it's too early to write in confidence what he's going to do. But with all that being said, that was a monumental win, and that is more than 1-0 in the win column because that's going to do him all good for his confidence going forward.
We also had a really exciting fourth quarter comeback on Sunday night, going back a little bit between the Bills and the Ravens in Buffalo. Josh Allen overcoming a 15-point fourth quarter deficit, thanks in large part to a Derrick Henry fumble, which was recovered and turned into points. I obviously didn't stay up for that game because I'm old, but I watched the highlights back on Monday morning, and my God, lads, that was just incredible. I think this could actually be the Bills' year, where they get over the hump and get into the AFC Championship game and possibly even get to the Super Bowl. Twist, I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, Derrick Henry's fumble basically, swung the momentum hugely in Bill's favor, but he basically carried that Ravens offense. At one point, the Ravens were up 40-25. That game should be finished then and there. The Ravens should just grind it out. But if you look back at history where Ravens have a big lead, they end up losing every single game. They have a double-digit lead. Bills fans who left early missed one of the
30,000 Bills fans trying to get back at the Highmark Stadium during the fourth quarter. No re-entry policy. It was being tested. Something shocking, I'd say.
Josh Allen calling him out in his pre-game presser, have some faith, and he's right, have some faith. The Ravens had a 98% chance to win with 3 minutes left in the game. There was no way they should have won it. That fumble, again, Derrick Henry done it, but he basically gashed that Bills defense. He tore them asunder. Is it the Bills' year? We say it every year. The Bills' year. It's the Bills' year. I mean, regular season's great. Josh Allen beats the Ravens in regular season. There's an MVP chant for Jackson in
I heard
in
that.
Buffalo, which is wild. Is it the Bills' year? I don't know. As Connor has pointed out, it is just week one. Is it the year? I don't know, but they're looking good. It's when it gets down to the stretch, when it gets down to the nitty gritty, when you get into elimination football. Can they do this? Can they keep that momentum? Can the fans stay and will their team on to win? I don't know if the Bills have it. I don't know if Josh Allen will ever have it. He's a great quarterback. He just has this mental block when it comes to the playoffs.
Connor, what do you reckon? Are we overreacting to the Bills' kind of comeback victory? Have we anointed them far too early, or will it be Ravens and Chiefs again in January?
It's not overreaction. The Bills are a really good football team, and they have been for years, and they proved it down the stretch once again. But Baltimore lost that game. Buffalo were given the opportunity and they took it because they're an excellent football team, but they also gave up 40 points on the ground and the game should have been dead. Derrick Henry had an unbelievable game, but that fumble, although it was only one mistake, the timing of it and the positioning of it negated all the hard work he'd done. Because you can win that game 17-10 and he doesn't have a good game, but you fumble in that moment and it negates all the hard work, all the good work. because you're giving the Bills an opportunity to get back in. That being said, they missed their 2-point conversion, which made it 40-38, and the Ravens got the ball back, and they couldn't go and get a first down.
Yeah.
So Baltimore lost that game more so than Buffalo won it. Can they go and win the Super Bowl? Of course they can. Come back in week 15 or 16, and we'll address that. Week 1 too early.
Twist, to your point as well, I'm kind of surprised that the Ravens weren't able to utilize some more of their weapons. I mean, they have one of the most underrated, best tight ends in the league in Isaiah Likely, a couple of really good receivers as well, but yet they really did the damage on the ground with Derrick Henry, who has really had a career resurgence in Baltimore as well. So definitely need to kind of open the offense up a little bit more there for the Ravens if they want to have, I mean, I don't want to say success because they had great success scoring, but if a team figures out how to stop Derrick Henry, I mean, like the Steelers did last year, then they're going to be in trouble.
So I don't you can't really open that offense up any more than it is. You've got Lamar Jackson, who's utilized. All wide receivers, all tight ends are utilized. They play every skill player perfectly. I think the Ravens issue is a mental issue. They get up big in some of the games. And as I said, you look back at their history where they get big leads in games. And I think they buy too much into their own ego, their own confidence, and they take the foot off the gas. And you see that happen to some of the best teams who get big leads. Once they start, you know what, the game's almost over, let's take it easy a little bit. They drop off just that little chance. That's all a team needs is one chance, and they got it with Henry. Now, I'm not saying, did he carry the ball wrong? Did he not secure it? Is he just we've done this, I got to run this, and he fumbled it? I don't know. Mentally, I wasn't there. I couldn't see, I'm not Derrick Henry. But is it a mental thing where these Ravens are, we're the MVP, we got the MVP, we're guaranteed to go to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game? And is it they're in their heads too much and they take the foot off the gas? I think that might be the biggest issue in Baltimore now.
But just to branch off that, and you're saying that teams take their foot off the gas, which they do, and they let teams back into a game. Why does that happen? It's not like they're tired. They're all conditioned to go for 60 minutes for 4 quarters. So why did they? Minnesota last night had Chicago dead to rights. They scored 21 unanswered points to go up by 10 with 3 minutes left, and they let Chicago go down the field in 45 seconds. Chicago hasn't scored since the first half. Why does that suddenly happen? Why did it only take them 45 seconds to get down the field? And they should have scored even sooner, but Caleb's foot went out of bounds right by the pylon.
It's a lapse in concentration as well, I think.
No, it's just they're too. It's prevent defense.
Yeah, but it comes to those mental errors. I mean, Derrick Henry's fumble was a mental error. Running backs of his caliber
that's a separate issue.
Don't put the ball on the ground.
As I say, I'm branching off it insofar as why is it that when we get into this prevent scenario that we let teams march down within 45 seconds a minute? Because Minnesota shot themselves in the foot there.
Yeah.
This is another thing that the Bears did wrong, that they lost the game last night. Their clock management was abysmal towards the end of the game. If they could have scored before the 2-minute warning, they would have had an extra timeout. And if Minnesota went 3 and out, which they did, Chicago would have had a minute 10 to go down the field. And that's a real opportunity. But instead, they milked it all the way down to 2 minutes 2. And then, even then, they could have saved it, but they booted it to the back of the end zone, and the guy took it out of the end zone. They did a whole segment on this on ESPN this morning. Yeah. The Manning cast, while it was on, we're all talking, hey, kick it out the back. Have a coach listening to Peyton Manning during the game, and then relay it on to Ben Johnson. Hey, by the way, 2 minutes 2 left. If we can kick this through the back of the end zone, or with the new kickoff rules, just kick it short of the landing zone, no time will run off the clock, and therefore we'll have the 2-minute warning as a timeout. How professionals that are earning, and I don't like to criticize often, but how professionals who are earning millions of dollars to game plan and to be efficient in these crucial moments get it wrong so often, and how we keep talking about it is bizarre to me. Hire a guy from Madden. They know how to use their timeouts.
It is a common thing you do, you bring up a great point.
Every week.
With the prevent defense, a team goes into prevent and just hopes rushing 3 or 2 will solve it. And you see quarterbacks rack up garbage yards.
Yeah, because these guys are good enough. They know what they're doing. It's like playing 7-on-7.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's a thing from high school where coaches are we sportsmen, we don't run the score up in this league, and that's just something that ends up stuck in their mind or not. Or it's just they're putting too much faith in prevent, deep ball. just give them up chunks, keep them in bounds. I'm like, yeah, but like give any team enough time on the clock.
Prevent defense is a risk always because it's like you say, you're only all you're preventing is the deep shot for the end zone, but you're not covering that kind of middle yards, and
No,
that's where you get the possession is on those middle yards, those big chunks, and you march it down the field. So
any NFL
prevent
team can go
defense,
down the field in a minute against
Yeah.
prevent defense.
He
Spiking the
also
ball with their
yeah,
timeouts, sometimes getting out of bounds. You're not going to say you're not if you could keep them on the field for 5-6 minutes in a drive. You see all these 6 minute, 8 minute, 10 minute drives. Great, but that's because it's base defense.
Yeah.
Because they're running their regular scheme. They're not going 3 deep and leaving these big hook zones in the middle wide open. It's
I
bizarre.
think they're hoping. A lot of them are hoping. You see it that like the tackle inbounds, the clock will wind, and the defender takes that little bit longer to get off the wide receiver, to get off the running back, and the refs to spot the ball. But it is a stupid system. I agree. Like the prevent system only prevents the deep shot to the touchdown. It gives up too much yards.
30 seconds to go. Great. Like
Yeah.
Minnesota got away with it last night because of the Bears' incompetence.
Yeah.
If Chicago had a score with 2 minutes 15 on the clock, or even with the 2 minutes 2 and just booted it out of bounds, or short of the landing zone, Minnesota would have had a problem because Chicago would have got the ball back with 70 seconds.
Yeah.
It could be going to overtime.
who would be an NFL coach? Who would be an NFL? It's very easy for us to sit here and criticize, but in those high pressure situations, I mean,
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like
Ben
to
Johnson,
criticize.
Kevin O'Connell know what they're doing. Very quickly, lads, before we move on to looking ahead to week 2 and some of the injury news and top matchups. Twist, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about Aaron Rodgers' debut in New York. It wasn't the prettiest game. It was very meh. We were texting, obviously, throughout the game. I was saying that I was quite nervous, as I do tend to get, but you were just indifferent to the whole performance, really. I mean, okay, great. We had 4 touchdowns, and he moved the ball, and he found his weapons, and DK had a good debut, but I think the performance of the defense against the run and our own run game kind of negated any sort of positive takeaways from that one.
Yeah, like you were texting me, you were like, "Oh, like I'm stressed," and I was like, I'm not even like happy. I'm not annoyed. I'm just disappointed.
Just numb.
Just disappointed. The highest paid defense.
Yeah.
Tomlin goes out the way he does every year. We're here to stop the run. We're here to stop the run.
187
Like,
yards, 4.5 yards average per rush.
You got big guys up front like Benton and Hayward. You got guys outside like Highsmith and Watt. And then you got Queen and Cowan in the middle. And you get gashed for nearly 200 yards.
Hayward had absolutely no impact on the game. He went missing for 4 quarters, and TJ only had, I think there was 1 sack in the game, but it wasn't even TJ. It was Highsmith, I think.
You got a couple of tackle for losses. That was about it. Like it was nothing to write home about. Again, our issue is still secondary. Secondary still suffers. Meh. That's all I can say. Meh.
I think it's going to be a very meh season for the Steelers. I mean, the Bengals obviously escaped with the win against the Browns, but like I think the AFC,
we are signing Jabril Peppers to hopefully fix the Deshaun Elliott gap. Again, an Asian cornerback.
Yeah.
You know,
safety. He's not even a cornerback. He's a safety. He's a safety in his early 30s. I mean,
like, you know, everyone's like, "Oh, we got Jalen Ramsey." I'm like, he's an Asian defensive back. Like, he's not going to swing the season.
He did call a game though. He
called the game, and like that's going to be used against me all the time for like until he messes up for like talking shit about him because you know he's old and we got rid of Minka for him and stuff. But my response to Week 1 Steelers is yes, we won. I'm happy we won, but overall performance, meh.
Yeah.
Let's see how we do the home opener against Seattle. But before we look ahead, I do want to shout out Danny Dimes in Indianapolis. Went out, balled out, and it has given the Colts a real question on their hands.
Yeah. 3 total touchdowns, 1 pass and 2 rushing. It seems like a man reborn, Connor, as well. And was it just a change of scenery he needed, or like will a kind of a stiffer defense in Miami's prove it challenging later in the season?
That might be a combination of things. A perfect storm for Week 1. A not great team rolling into town. 1 o'clock kickoff, home game. New coach kind of likes him. Scheme works well. Oh, look, we're up by 21 points. This is great. Sun shining. Happy days. You know, different players work better in different places and different systems. And look at Russell Wilson, man.
Yeah,
Like
on the way
perennial
out in New
great
York.
quarterback, right? He didn't look too good in New York
No,
the other
he's
day.
done.
So there are certain places you go as a quarterback, and it's harder to play football. You think if Brock Purdy, as a seventh round pick, got thrown into the Giants because of injuries, you think he'd be getting paid 200 million or whatever he's got? You think he'd get that contract? I don't think
Yeah.
so. He'd have
No.
been on the floor 10 times and they'd say seventh round pick, we'll choose the next guy. Whereas he went into a system that worked, that most quarterbacks succeed in, and he's great. And Daniel Jones would probably be great in San Francisco. So let's see if there's long term success with Daniel Jones. But good for him. Good for him. Any quarterback that goes somewhere else and has success, I have a lot of respect for. And I
Yeah.
think it's great because all these guys work so hard. They work so hard. So yeah, good for Danny Dimes.
And we've seen quarterbacks in the past take a couple of stops to settle in. I mean, look at Baker Mayfield. He got to Tampa Bay as a mature quarterback in the right system, the right scenario.
Sam Darnold last year.
Yeah, Sam Darnold last year. So it just goes to show you. Like, I love Baker Mayfield. I love his attitude. I love his style. He's just a fantastic man overall, really. And I'm delighted to see him having that success in Tampa Bay as their current franchise quarterback. So you never know. It could be a similar situation for Daniel Jones in Indianapolis, where he just took him a while.
Baker Mayfield, you're getting a Valentine's card off Jimmy Ingram.
Big Baker fan here. Not gonna lie. But look, it's obviously something that we'll be keeping an eye on throughout the season. Okay, gents. Twist, you mentioned the injury there to Deshaun Elliott on the Steelers. Obviously, a starting safety that the Steelers have signed cover for in Jabril Peppers. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out in week 2 against the Seahawks. A couple of other injuries to keep an eye on as well for the coming few weeks are George Kittle out 5 to 6 weeks with a groin injury. It's obviously a massive piece missing there for the Niners. Quarterback issues as well. I think Brock Purdy might have a shoulder, I read earlier on. So
shoulder and a toe.
Shoulder and a toe.
Toe is worse than the shoulder.
Pick your toe.
Yeah, definitely worse than the shoulder. And of course, Christian McCaffrey as well. It limited enough with the calf injury. So not a great start to the season for the Niners already. Is there any other injuries I missed, or that they're the kind of main ones?
Just a few
Vikings had a couple. Their Mike linebacker is going to be out for about 6 weeks. Hamstring. A couple of the guys banged up in the game, but nothing too serious. But Mike linebacker is a pretty big one. Blake Cashman, he led the team in tackles last year. So they've brought back Eric Wilson, who was there a couple of years ago. They brought him back, and now he's got the green dot in his helmet. He had a great game last night against Chicago. So let's see if Minnesota can last without Blake Cashman.
Looking ahead then to week 2, I mean, there's a couple of fixtures that stand out to me. Starting off Thursday night football in 2 potential NFC Championship contenders in the Washington Commanders and the Green Bay Packers. Two young quarterbacks, Twist, 2 of the best in the game, Jordan Love and Jaden Daniels squaring off. This is going to be very interesting because it's going to have early season playoff implications, I think.
Definitely, and like I said, I'm still riding with the Packers in the NFC.
Your flag is definitely nailed to the mast on that one. You put your money on that one.
Yeah, I think just looking at the history of the Packers, whenever they get a big defensive piece, they always end up going to and winning the Super Bowl. There's like a precedent there. There's history there. But I think Jordan Love's matured enough. He's shown what he's made of. Micah Parsons on that defense is just going to make it an absolute monster to deal with. Jaden Daniels is explosive. He's got, Scary Terry there to catch balls with. I just think the Packers have the edge.
Definitely.
Again, the experience and the overall defense should be able to keep him contained. But then again, it is only week 2. Jaden Daniels could come out and absolutely blow the Packers away.
But they didn't blow away the Giants, though, really, on Sunday night.
They were to.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. They didn't have to.
No, it's a good point. Teams don't run up the score. Like that game was 14-6 for I don't know how long, and it was done.
Yeah.
Jaden
Daniels also should take another step this year in his development. I mean, he was absolutely sublime as a rookie, and now that they have Terry McLaurin locked up, they also have Deebo Samuel as an additional kind of offensive gadget there. Twist isn't a fan based on that facial expression. He is kind of past his prime, I think, a little bit as well, and banged up with injuries. But like that, the main event then, as far as I'm concerned, is the Super Bowl rematch on Sunday night at 9:25 Irish time, Connor, between the Eagles and Chiefs. And I think this is Eagles all day because based on the small sample size we have of recent Chiefs, we have the Super Bowl performance, which is subpar. And then they went down to Sao Paulo. Obviously, as you said earlier in the podcast, funny things happen in international games.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Chargers just looked like the superior team all game long in that one based on what I saw. So this should be a no-brainer for the Eagles, unless, of course, the Chiefs are kind of hell-bent on getting revenge for the defeat in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and to add to the injury news, Xavier Worthy also went down in that game in Sao Paulo, so he won't be available. Chiefs are 0-1, which means if they lose, they're 0-2, which is not a good start to the season. I know it's quite difficult math, but it's more important for Kansas City than it is for Philadelphia. As well, it's an interconference game. This doesn't get mentioned enough, but interconference games are the least important of all your games because they don't add to your tiebreakers at the end of the season. But I think it's more important for Kansas City, but I do think Philadelphia are far better outfit. I like Philly, and I think KC might fall to 0-2, and that will really open the door for the Chargers if they can win this weekend as well to get 2 games ahead of KC.
I think the Chiefs really relied on a lot of short passing and dinking and dunking and Mahomes kind of improvising last year, but I just don't think that's going to be enough to get to will. They won't be able to will their way to the AFC Championship game or to the Super Bowl this season. And obviously, and we talked about this a lot last season as well, a lot of favorable calls and questionable calls that the Chiefs got last year, which I don't think they will get this year because there's a lot more scrutiny on them. And on the rest of the league. So, it could be a bad start to the season for the Chiefs.
Well, I mean, you look at that first game against the Chargers, 73 on their offense was called for 5 false start penalties in the game. So much so that Kelsey was caught on camera screaming at him and borderline headbutting him, basically get your shit together. I said it last week in the podcast, the Chiefs are not making the AFC Championship game. I'm going to stick with that call. Do the Chiefs dink and dunk it? I mean, when you have guys who can make explosive plays like Xavier Worthy, who's not there now because Travis Kelce took him out. Maybe he badmouthed Taylor Swift. I don't know. But you dink and dunk because then your linebackers and your DBs cheat down. And then that's all Mahomes needs is that one shot to get that deep ball. You can't discount Mahomes' magic, where he does crazy ass scrambles and throws. But I think they're going to struggle. Will I write them off against the Eagles? Absolutely. I think Jalen Hurts and co, their mentality, not even a week after the Super Bowl celebrations ended, someone asked him a question, what does he think about winning the Super Bowl? He's like, I'm done with that now, on to the next one. That's his mentality. I've hit a point. I'm not going to celebrate all year. I'm a champion. It's back to week 0.
Yeah. Back to the grind.
After he wins. And I think that mentality is shared by the whole Eagles team. And I think they're just going to plow through a lot of the teams that they faced this year. I mean, how can you not with, you just Saquon Barkley alone and that offensive line that, even with Kelsey gone from center, still make the tush push look so easy.
Yeah, no one can stop it. No.
So, yeah.
Interesting. They also, I mean, you talk about Saquon Barkley, obviously, arguably the best running back in the league, but they also interestingly signed Tank Bigsby today, I think, from the Jaguars, which is kind of an interesting addition. So it's a bit of a fortune of riches there in Philadelphia at the minute. So
they did come out and say they're signing Bigsby mainly for return special teams because they need him due to possible injury issues. But even if they use him as a third down back behind Saquon, that's still, as you said, too many weapons for teams to game plan against.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see what happens there. I mean, it should be a foregone conclusion. That's all I have, gents. Any final thoughts on the week ahead? Connor, great to have you on the podcast this week.
A pleasure. No team wants to fall to 0-2, so if you're struggling for a game to watch, pick a game between 2 0-1 teams, and there's a lot on the line. Because when you fall to 0-2, the playoff chances drastically reduce.
And on the flip side of that, if you don't want to watch any of the games you mentioned or know what game to watch, there's a lot of rivalry games on this weekend to throw your eye on, like Ravens, Browns, Lions, Bears, to name a few. So, yeah, check those out, because if you're new to the NFL, rivalry games, in division games. Smash mouth football at the best.
And if you are a new listener and you haven't already, please do subscribe, follow us on all social media channels, and make sure to check out our sponsors, Print My Pint, for your next event. Gents, thank you very much for your time. Great podcast, and I will see you all next week.